What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on with everyone this evening? We are excited to be back on again. You are on with Big J and D Mac. What's going on with you, D?
What's going on, Big J, man? It's been an exciting day, man.
Facts, man. Facts, man. Hey, man, you know we're gonna have call in tonight, so we're gonna put the live number in the room, and we're gonna have people call in. With the number, what we're gonna do? We're gonna do one at a time. We're not gonna have a bunch of people on the panel because that'll get wild. So we'll give everybody 3 minutes. So if you got your phone right, I'm gonna need you to help me moderate the screen. Yeah, so we're
Cool.
gonna do.
Cool.
But you know what, man? Did you come up with any more information on this whole subject about Miss
I did.
Poindexter and
I
LeBron? What did you come
did.
up with?
Um, well, earlier today, because she went live, and like I did a video earlier, and I did an update a little bit, and the police went and did a health and welfare check on her. She, slammed the door on them and everything, and she went in there and she started talking, and there was something interesting that she said because she was talking about how she liked doing music and her artistic side, and she said that her and I'm not gonna mention the lady's name, but her and another lady was working on some stuff when she was in the mental hospital.
Uh huh.
So
Uh huh.
she already admitted that she's already been admitted into a mental facility before. So
Right.
this is not her first time dealing with these mental issues that she's
Mm-hmm.
going through. So that
Right.
further let me know that there's something going on there. And I was looking at her live, you know how like people's comments be
Yeah.
going down,
Yeah.
and all of the people that knew her was saying, "Hey, we love you, let me talk to me offline." They were trying
Right.
to do stuff like that, but you had the toxic people in there who were trying to fuel it
And
and
to
who were
get her
trying to
going.
trigger her and trying
Right.
to keep it going, man. So it's horrible to see that.
And that's what I've been saying, DA. We want to let the room know that you can come in. We're gonna take calls in about 10 minutes. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna start taking online calls. So you can click that link. Come on, you have 3 minutes to tell us what you feel, and we're gonna talk to you. But what I want to say is this, D, tell them where that page is so they can go by and get your information and check it out.
That's Deacon Mac. You can go to Deacon Mac. Let's talk. Go over there and check it out. That's DeaconMack. Let's talk. And I also found out there's a ex Kansas City Chiefs player, Larry Johnson. For whatever reason, he's backing up Cappie Pondexter.
Facts.
Um, I don't know what his purpose is for doing so. I don't know if he got some inside scoop, but I saw somebody say that, he's always talking about stuff like that, like the
Right.
elite and their sex trap, well, rings and stuff like that and different things. So I don't know, man. It's a touchy story, and like I said, I'm never going to make an accusation against somebody without any proof, and
Right.
nobody's giving any proof of anything. It's just a bunch of speculate. It's just a bunch of accusations at this point.
Right.
So that's why ESPN and Fox Sports and all of them are not jumping on this, because I guess they kind of already know what it is.
But there is something to it too. I want to support Miss Pondexter, and it's this: there were some things that she was consistent on. She didn't go away from. And so the narrative only with the mental health and some things, it kind of went away. But there were some
Hmm.
points that she stayed to and she never lets go in each one of her conversations. So that, and let me tell you how I saw it. I saw it as a warning to the elites to get yourself together. Because if you don't, more individuals like this are these type of things are going to come out, and after a while, there's going to be some investigation and things that go on. You got something on that?
Yeah, because it's definitely not far fetched that the elite will do some things that are what we consider out of the norm. You look at Kesha, when Kesha came out about her producer who had been abusing her for over 10 years, sexually and
Right,
otherwise, and she went to court and fought the case, and they made it about her trying to get out of her contract when
right,
really she was going through some stuff. And also
right,
recently Britney Spears came out about how her father has been holding all of her stuff hostage, and she had to go to court just to get permission to use her own stuff. And
right.
so there's many different tales of how these women are being oppressed in this industry. So for her to say something like that, I wouldn't all the way dismiss it.
Well,
But I definitely will keep in mind that there's some major mental health issues going on with this though.
so my question is why? She played successfully in the WNBA for 13 years, never had an issue. Why issues now?
That's a good question. And that could go down to I know whenever I got out of the military and I retired, the military had became my identity. My
Facts.
rank and the all of the authority that had been given to me, all of this had became my identity over an extended period of time. And when I retired and that identity was gone, I was lost for a few years. I didn't
Right.
know what to do because my identity was wrapped up in that what I did. So
Yeah.
now that she's left what she's done and what her identity has always been connected to, maybe she's going through that same type of thing, and then that's exacerbated by a much higher level than what I went through.
Facts. Well, D, you know me. I'm going to go do research for the community, for the
For sure.
subscribers. Whoever don't show up and don't hear it, that's their business. Because, like you said,
Hmm.
when we talk today, a lot of people just want to hear the narrative of an argument, and we said we're not
Hmm.
going to do that. But guess what?
No.
I went and did like I did with Kwame Brown, like I did with In Living Color. I found out where what's the boy's name? Charlemagne. Them get all that stuff. The Breakfast Club is In Living Color 20 years later. What
Yeah.
like Kwame says they play with bunkies. Well, on the In Living Colors, they had two supposedly gay guys, David Allen Greer, and what's the other brother's name? Can't think of his name, but he was the Wayans brother.
David Allen Greer
Damon
and
and
Damon
Damon
Wayans.
Wayans, right? And
Yeah.
they're both playing gay guys playing
Hmm.
with a turkey sexually. So this
Yeah.
is not this beef thing is not new, but you have to do investigation. So for the two people on here, they're gonna get to hear what I went and found out today. I'm gonna play it right now. Go ahead, D.
Yeah, because people don't seem to understand what agenda is being pushed. And
Yes,
there are certain people who are designated to push certain agendas. And
yes.
Charlemagne and Envy's their agenda to push is that homosexual agenda.
But the
And
reality is
so
they don't even know why they're doing it. They're being pushed to do it and don't even realize it.
oh, I think they know why they doing it. They have those big boss men in their ear. This is what we need pushed, and this is the narrative that we want going. And they
Wow.
highlight those things all the time because you notice whenever they have the transgenders and different people like that on their shows, they definitely highlight that. So it's they have a platform, they have a large platform, and they have a large responsibility to go along with all that's been given to them.
I just wanted to do Kwame know what he's doing. They're paying him to do that. I'm gonna say it again. I'll never forget when in Living Color. We're coming to the video. Don't leave. When in Living
Hmm.
Color played the skit with Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson got very upset. And guess what?
Hmm.
They did the same thing with Kwame Brown. It wasn't personal. Whoever's out and who's trending, the Breakfast Club will go on there and play games with you. So guess what? What Kwame and all these individuals don't understand is just a game. Go ahead, recognize D.
Hey, what's up, Taja? That's my homeboy Taja Grigley right there, man. Good to
Okay,
see you
okay.
in here, Taj.
What's up,
Yeah,
T?
yeah. We know that In Living Color was a skit show, And
Right.
what In Living Color did, it
Beef.
highlighted everything that was prevalent in our society during
Yes.
those times. And
Yes.
so that's exactly what the Breakfast Club is doing in
Yes.
this era here. Because
Yes.
we're moving further away from the TV, and we're
Yes.
moving more into the social media podcast era.
Facts.
And so they're the next generation of that. But
Facts.
they're the next ones in line to push that agenda. That's all it come down to.
And
So
that's
when
yes, facts. Come on, man. Come
yeah,
on,
so when
D.
they highlight stuff like that, this is nothing new under the sun. This has been always been perpetuated ever since I was a kid. This
Facts.
whole concept has been perpetuated to condition our minds for when it actually comes that we would be more accepting of it.
And that's what Kwame doesn't understand. YouTube is paying him so many millions of dollars now for him to create beef like In Living Color. Man, let me get to this video. I know what people here were gonna get off of that. So you know what? We're gonna go show it now. Those who not here, they gonna miss it. Because what this is gonna bring up the truth of what's wrong with this young lady. Hold on 1 minute, let me find it. Okay, here it is. Where I made it right here. This right here, D, blew me out the water, man. Blew me out the water. This is going to answer the whole thing.
Concussions a great deal. I've suffered from concussions a great deal. I've suffered from concussions a great deal. I've suffered from concussions a great deal. I was driving to the basket. I'm a very aggressive driver. I'm going this direction. She's coming in this direction. Bam! Smacked me right in the head. But I'm like, nah, I'm not getting out of this game till we win. And I just kind of shook it off. In the last 2 years, I suffered from like 8 concussions. In the last 2 years, I suffered from like 8 concussions. In the last 2 years, I suffered from like 8 concussions. As a professional athlete, you gotta be elite all the time. So whatever you can find to help so that you can perform,
oh, just wait, bro.
Since I've been taking the CBD,
Here
like, I haven't had any pain issues. I was able to work out with my trainer. I went through a whole training camp without any pains. So I'm like in a good space. And at 35, people are looking at me like, how are you moving like this? People looking at me like, how are you moving like this? People looking at me like, how are you moving like this? Fell in love with it. She stopped taking her medicine for her high blood pressure, and it's helped her aches and pains. My grandmother loves it. My whole family is just obsessed over it. To see the effects for them, it's amazing. It's helped me sustain and play at a high level at my age. I think the oil is just one of those things that has added some extra mileage for me. The recovery has been great. I haven't had any reasons to sit out of a basketball game or a practice. Is a go-to for me.
For 20 years, Cappie Pondexter has pushed the envelope and been a pioneer in women's sports, a true Renaissance woman. That same spirit and mind bring you a new line of groundbreaking beauty products.
So sad,
high-grade Moroccan argan oil has become one of the most popular beauty and skincare products because of its effectiveness. CBD oil is fast becoming the groundbreaking anti-aging product for this generation. Introducing Cappie's own argan CBD. With incredible rejuvenating effects, it is one of the most highly effective products on the beauty market. Pure, clean, organic, and free from any harmful synthetic additives. Cappie's own argan CBD is perfect for skin, nails, and hair. And Cappie's own terpenated balm is the perfect all-around product, making skin look youthful and nourished, while also providing relief for aches, pains, rashes, bumps, and scrapes. It's the all-utility balm for the warrior beauty queen of the 21st century.
Now you got it, D. Now you got it,
When
bro.
when did she drop this, man?
It's been a while ago. But did you hear what she said when we were showing the videos? She suffered 8 concussions. And the thing is, I just read about concussions. Most pro teams, NBA teams, NFL teams have doctors who will not let you stay in the game. But she said out of each 8 concussions, she stayed in the game and played, and no one said anything. But her medicine became what? CBD.
Traumatic brain injury has so many damaging side effects.
With mental health. Come on, Doc.
100%. And so, that's why I wasn't going to be quick to jump on the bandwagon and demonize this sister. Absolutely not. Because I know what I saw. I recognized it when I seen her talking. I was like, just let me examine her talk for a while, and I'll be able to put 2 and 2 together. And man, I just, like I said, I was seeing that the people who really knew her and loved her, they were saying, "Hey, we love you, Cappy. Cappy, DM me. Cappy, just let so and so in." And all of the people that knew her was sending much love. But like I said, you had those people who were just trying to fuel the fire, trying to get her, trying to set her off and stuff. And like Todd just said, the internet is a beast, man. It's
Like
it's
the
definitely a beast.
like the people who came in here yesterday and tried to make it seem as though we were saying that LeBron James didn't do anything. That's not what we said. We said, let
No.
us do our due diligence, let us investigate. And I'm still not going to say he's innocent because, like I said before, Hollywood, you have been warned because there are certain people who are watching the elitists and people are studying like we just came. Man, how come nobody on YouTube has shown this video, D?
Because they're afraid to open up that can of worms. That's something that they don't want to talk about. I remember Dave Chappelle was saying how Martin Lawrence, as strong as he is, as strong as that man is, as much as he's taken on and been through, he was running out in the middle of the street in his
Facts.
underwear saying they are
Breakdown.
trying to kill me. So
Yes,
what is it that's going on in Hollywood that's making somebody that strong lose their mind? And
that's why I
he
said, come
brought
on.
up the greatest point ever, and no one will ever answer that question.
Go ahead. Tell her what he brung up.
He brung up the fact that there's something going on in Hollywood, and Hollywood is a little sick.
Man, why you
Taja says he says her Instagram page is full of Beyonce pics with all kinds of messages to her and how she loves her. Yes, she's saying Beyonce is her wife, and they're in love, and all of these things that are going on in her mind. Like I said earlier, it is a reality to her.
it's just that one it was that one hit. Now watch this. She was arrested for domestic violence. Then she went missing for 2 months. Where was she at for 2 months, D? In the mental
In the
hospital.
mental hospital,
Thank you.
because she
Thank you.
said it. She said she was in the mental hospital, and
Right.
so uh, people have to realize what's going on. Yeah, we're not saying that there's not anything going on in Hollywood. We know absolutely 100% that there's something going on, but at the same time, we have to. We would be so out of line if we didn't acknowledge the mental health strain that she's under right now.
But I want to shift the narrative for a minute, D. We got to shift the narrative back to this young lady and care and have compassion, which most people in this world don't anymore. LeBron James was never worried about it. Chris
No, never.
Brown, Chris Brown was never worried about it. They know the
No.
truth. They understand. That's why they didn't come out and say anything. But the problem is, no matter what happens, there are ignorant people in this world, man, who are still talking about her, going to her page, trying to get her upset. And guess what she said today when I was listening? She said, "Oh, you trying to put me in that place to where my stressors take over." So she's totally cognitive of what people are trying to do. See, what people don't understand, that young lady said, I had 8 concussions. And this is where I want to go, D, where you and I talk about the WNBA. If you go back and look at every interview she did, she talked about how they're underpaid. She was under a lot of stress. She talked about how
Yeah.
she had to go play with the guys in Chicago just to become
Yeah.
better at the game. They was knocking her around or knocking her down. So she was undiagnosed from all these concussions. And then they said athletes do like the women in the WNBA, they won't even go to the doctor or a psychiatrist or to a therapist. They don't have the financial
Because
wherewithal.
I was going to say they can't afford to. These girls are only making 20% of what's being made, as to where the men get 50% of what's being made. These women are having to go overseas in their off season just to make ends meet until the season come back around again. They don't have any kind of daggone health care or anything like that. The only health care that they have is during the games. Anything outside of a game, that is not going to be covered by that league. And so these women are in a very they're in a strain. They're in a strain, and it shouldn't be. And people say, well, they don't generate as much as the NBA does. Of course, the NBA started it all, and they've put everything into the NBA. But I think if they invest more in the WNBA, then they'll get more of a return
Your
because
fact. Yeah, T. She don't really have handlers, man. A lot of these girls, like D just said, man, she mentioned playing overseas for 5 different teams. As soon as the season was over here, she said, and this is what she said. So what I'm saying, she's remembering certain things. But watch this. At the height of the concussions and the mental illness, what gets her is what she last remembered. And she, in every interview, if you go back and hear her, she's talking about, well, how the men dominate, how much money the men make. Who is that in reference to in the NBA? LeBron James. And entertainment at one time, it was who? Chris Brown. So what she's doing, she's bringing up names, and this is why I say what your boy T said. Warning is coming. So all you elitists who say you're going to keep leaving people out, you better get ready because more of what she just did is about to go on.
Now, see, what Taj is talking about when he say handlers are allowing this to happen. Those are those gatekeepers because, like I said, the WNBA has their gatekeepers as well, and
Facts.
so we have to take into consideration what gatekeepers has this woman come in contact with. You
Facts. They'll
know,
allow this to happen.
exactly. So I kind of see where he's going with that because there are those gatekeepers in the WNBA, and I'm not going. I kind of got an idea who some of them are, but that's for somebody else to reveal that has more information and more proof than I do.
Yeah,
So
you're
he
right.
said, I saw that all the women in the WNBA salary doesn't add up to Taysom Hill contract as a backup quarterback.
Facts.
Wow.
That lady, that woman said,
Wow.
man, she said that this is why you know she ain't going all the way. She said my highest paying salary when I left before I left was $150 million. I mean, $150,000. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? A rookie in the NBA gets 20 or 30 million. She says I get $150 million to get, $1,000 to get 8 concussions with no medical care and still play the game because we don't get extra incentives unless we win the NBA championship. I mean the
Did you
WNBA championship.
did you see that comparison of how much Sue Bird makes and how much LeBron makes?
Yes.
They did like a rundown of both of them. She has just as many championships. She has just as many accolades as LeBron does, and she don't make a fraction of what LeBron James makes.
This is why
And
Cole. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, it's not just LeBron James because when you say LeBron James, you're talking about one of the higher paid athletes. So we can just we can compare him to a sixth man, and a sixth
Facts.
man is making 10 times as much as a star athlete in the WNBA is.
This is why when before Kobe Bryant passed, God rest his soul, he saw his daughter and what would possibly happen as she got older. And what he did, he went to support all women. All right. There are other players who are doing it now. I've seen LeBron this year at a couple of games. All right. So what needs to happen is, and I like that T is bringing up, watch this. That's it. That's it. And that's what Steph Curry gets a quarter.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Wow. She makes in a year what Steph Curry. Appreciate that, Taja, man. Taja be on it, bro. I'm telling you.
He needs to come on here and we'll put the link in the room. He's welcome.
Man, look, these guys are these guys are making so much, and these ladies are sacrificing just as much as these guys do.
And they have
Um,
kids.
yeah, yeah. On top of that, they have kids. They have a family to try to juggle, and we all know that the mom's role and the father's role is different. So we can't even compare that. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like we need to do more for these ladies because this is the differential on that is crazy.
I'm like the Bible, man. All things happen for a reason. This happened for a reason. And again, the elitists need to wake up because there are other people who are in that circle who might be at a lower level, but they're going to start calling your names out. And then after a while, certain people are going to want to know, why is she calling out LeBron James? Why does he have a squeaky clean image? Who's protecting him? Why is he got? And then when I was listening to Candace Owens talk about LeBron, I was like, oh my goodness. So there's people who know stuff that we don't know. So, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get into her. But what I want to do is segue right quick and say now we do have to look at how everybody was ready to crucify LeBron. You know,
Yes.
and I want to come back because we didn't do that on this show. What we said was we're going to go get the facts and see what's going on because we don't want to crucify anyone without knowledge or facts. So then he and other individuals knew they didn't have to do anything to recover because they never lost anything because they held their integrity. Go ahead, D.
Yeah, so going back on the WNBA and the disparity in the money, now that college is going to start paying players for their likeness and stuff like
Don't
that,
do it.
are
Don't do it. Don't do it.
are those female players going to get paid the same as the male players, or is there going to be a disparity in pay there as well?
It's based on your own branding. If you have a daddy like a Master P, you gonna get his son like his son got 2 million. He wanted 2.5 million, and they gave him 2 million. His baby son got 1 million for some ideas they created. So it all depends on who you know, what you know is gonna happen. But watch this. Like LaMelo Ball, you have to already be branded. You know, so if LaMelo was is in going to college now, oh my goodness, he would make more money in college than he does in the NBA.
I feel like that's going to cause a whole lot of confusion and a whole lot of trouble in college for these first couple of years while they're trying to work it out, because so many athletes are going to start focusing so much on their brand and things like that that it's going to distract them from the game. And
Facts.
there's going to be certain things on the court that they're not going to want to do because it's going to go against their brand. And
Facts.
so now that's going to open up a whole nother can of worms for the whole collegiate level.
Hey man, let me switch again, D. I'm sorry, too much stuff on my mind.
That's all right. Let's roll, bro.
Watch this. Have you noticed there's no Kwame Brown today? There's no Hassan with anything. It's really quiet on YouTube. Have you checked that out?
Yeah, I noticed.
You know what
I
you know what I noticed then?
Well,
It's YouTube payday. I haven't got mine yet, so I don't know. But what
I
I'm
know what it is.
yes, it's like the first of the month.
That's what's going on. Then they got that check they out
Exactly. Exactly. It's like Country Wayne say, I get 300,000 a month. So now I see why he only put out a couple of shows.
But I wonder why he didn't speak on this. This is something that definitely need to be addressed. It's in the vein of NBA. And he been talking about mental health and all of that stuff. So
Right.
This is a topic that people really can get on and really do some help, because all of that toxic stuff that wasn't helping nobody. Nobody grew off of that. Nobody learned really anything other than what not to do.
Right.
But this is a topic where we can learn and where we can gonna teach, and everybody's quiet on it.
And nobody understood. No, go ahead, D.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, except for these smaller content providers. And a lot of them are making it more toxic just so they could get some views.
Exactly. Remember I said this yesterday and everybody kind of got heated. I said this is the part of mental health that people who make judgment and who go based on what someone says need to understand before they go out and convict or hang somebody, because you could be making a mistake. And everybody said, so what you're saying? She's not telling the truth. That's not what I'm saying. You have to look at everything before you make a decision. Take a woman or a man's name out there and slander it. Some people who don't have LeBron money can never recover. They'll never recover.
And if you're going to come out with the accusations as such, you have to have some proof.
Exactly.
You can't just come out and say it and then expect everybody to just believe you, and you have absolutely no proof to back up what you're saying. That was one of the biggest problems that they had with Jeffrey Epstein.
Facts.
Was that they had no proof to back up these claims. All they had when they went and ran up in his house and they got all of that evidence finally. Well, we see what happened. He ended up dead because other people didn't want their names out there.
That's right.
Let's see what Taja says. He's worth 134 million, part owner of the overseas team he played for. Now, I have a question because I see a lot of these players are buying into teams and buying their own teams. Why don't they buy a WNBA team? A WNBA team that for an actual team is only about $20 million.
See, because watch this, D. I'm gonna tell you the problem. This is what I see, and you and T can tell me if I'm wrong. When it comes to women, the big old boys club and the old boys club, they just don't care. And 90% of those who support these content creators are women. And then brothers telling you they just don't care. They'll go to a game, they'll show up, they'll do something. But when it comes to the regulation and making sure that these women eat, it was the same way in corporate America with the glass ceiling. You can only go so far. And then what they do will allow you one or two referees in the NBA, and that's good enough. They just don't care, man. So what these women are doing, these women are putting their life. Could you imagine finishing a 7, 8, 9, 10 game season, jumping on a plane, going overseas? Once you finish with one team, you go to another team, then you have to come back here. Nobody knows what that woman's been through. 8 concussions,
Exactly.
and nobody's talked about it. And guess what? If they would have came out with this material first, when she first came out, no one would have been saying anything but. And I'm glad somebody did a wellness check. Talk about what that is, D.
A wellness check is when somebody calls the police and the police come and check on you and make sure that you are not a danger to yourself or to anyone else. They will do a courtesy call to your home, knock on the door, just check and see what's going on. Now with Miss Cappy, with Miss Pondexter, it seems like she was on her balcony and the police were talking over the balcony and she went inside and closed the door on them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they just ran up in her house or nothing like that, but they saw that she was okay. She wasn't physically harmed. And I guess they didn't try anything else from there because there wasn't really much that they could do. They can't forcibly take her to get any medical help or mental health help. So all they could do was, yeah, she's okay, and going about their business.
Okay.
Um, let's see. He says more money overseas and less taxes, so more profit. Yeah, that's
Facts.
true.
Facts.
That's
Watch
true.
watch this. Here's
But then too, when those females go through those like when they have the what you say, the concussions and things like that,
yes.
concussion protocol is going to keep you out of games and stuff like that, and they're losing money by doing that.
But she just said that she didn't ever come out of the games. 8 concussions. She had MRIs, but she never came out of the games. Let me switch something right quick. Who's
Mm.
R. Kelly?
Who's R. Kelly, the
Yes.
Pied Piper?
What is he known for?
Besides music,
Uh-huh.
for
I just
his corralling of women, having a small harem of his own.
mentally suggesting to young women and young girls and even taking them away from their parents. And these
Yeah,
some of these young girls wouldn't even go back to their own parents. So wait a
that's
minute.
true.
So when I listen to
True.
her talk, I'm like, she's trying to warn everybody about something. Sometimes we just look at as though well, she's mentally crazy, something going on. Well, when R. Kelly was holding all them females, was all those girls mentally crazy? Or did something
Yeah.
happen to allow them to be taken and put in that position? Now, watch this. He couldn't take the girls and sing at the same time, could he?
Nope.
So, how did they get to his dressing room?
They had to be brought.
Go ahead. I hear
They
you.
had
I
to
hear
be
you
brought.
thinking. I hear you thinking. Go ahead.
And then Aaliyah wasn't crazy. When he married that girl and she was only 16 years old, she wasn't crazy. And now you see T.I. and his wife going through this thing now. All of these people are not going through this same thing for no reason. It's not a coincidence that
Mm-hmm.
all of these people are being accused of these terrible acts. You even have Elijah Wood the one who played, I believe, Spider-Man or something. No, he played Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
He came out and started to talk about the pedophilia that takes place
And
in
Holly, come on.
Hollywood.
Come on.
Corey Feldman came out and talked
Yes.
about how it is. So it's been so many names, so many people who have confirmed that this takes place in Hollywood. So I would never say that no, there's no way that this could be. I'm just saying that the likelihood in this case, she got to have proof, because just saying it is not going to be enough,
And
especially in
that's
this
what I'm
time and day
saying.
that we live
There's
in.
something else going on to there. Watch this. And you're right, G. It's called Stockholm syndrome. That's right, 100%. I wish he was on here so he can explain, because he got good understanding. Watch this. Then you had Chris Brown and what he did to who when he beat her up.
Rihanna.
Come on. So look at her mindset, what she's doing. She keeps talking about Chris Brown. She's talking about LeBron James. Now, nobody talked about that LeBron James got caught DMing an Instagram model. Nobody's going to talk about that because he's the king. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I believe that in her mind, yes, something might be going on, but she's sending a narrative and a good picture that's trying to send a warning, that's telling the elitists, you better shape up or something is about to happen. She mentions Chris Brown. Watch this. What church is Beyonce over?
I don't know.
Church of Satan, the church of
Yeah,
Beyonce,
that is.
her own church.
One more thing on that too, as far as Chris Brown goes, because last week, as recently as last week, I believe Chris Brown has charges on him for assault on another female. He also had charges going back some months ago about a female who was alleging that she was sexually assaulted in his house by him and a bunch of his friends. And so all of these allegations are fresh. You know what I'm saying? And
Indeed.
all of this stuff is not a coincidence, man. I definitely, and there were people who were saying that they don't believe in the Illuminati and they don't believe in the levels of the masonry. Well, my mother was an Eastern Star. And when I was younger, what's going on, my brother?
What's good, my G?
Chilling, chilling, chilling.
What's going on with you, T?
Can y'all hear me? How you doing, son?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So like
Yes,
I was
sir.
saying, man, my mom, she was an Eastern Star. And so when I was younger, she put me in a group which is called the Gleaners. Now for the males, those are the Junior Masons, and for the females, those are the Junior Eastern Stars. And they start to teach us the foundation of all of that stuff that they learn. So I learned all of this stuff, but when I got older, around about 17 or 18, when it's time to actually get initiated, I was chasing girls and out in the street, so I lost interest in it and didn't join. So
But
I know what I'm talking about when I speak about this masonry stuff.
and that's
And
what I'm
so,
saying. I don't want to call it. Let's say, okay, for namesake, let's not call it Illuminati. Let's just call it some type of worship. Some type of worship. I don't even want to call it Masons. So what I'm saying is this: this young lady is spitting out information with people's names that could be possibly connected to some type of ring that we found out, like Oprah Winfrey is not who she really said she was. So watch this. This young lady could have tried to buy her way into something as a player, like they said about certain people who have expired or passed. So maybe she was given some elusive drug or something happened to where, you know what, she's mentioning these names for a reason. Because we just looked at Chris Brown. We just looked at Beyonce. Man, I never forget watching the Super Bowl a couple of years, man. When Sasha Fierce came out. You know what I'm talking about, T, don't you?
yeah.
And her eyes rolled back to the front. I'm like, Demon!
Hey, what's your take on that, T, man?
Man, I've been reading up on that Project Monarch and everything.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
If it happened 300, 400 years ago, why can't it happen right now? Watch this. Why can't we say there are gatekeepers who have sold their soul. When I read the book Robert Johnson Going Down to the Crossroad, I told my mama to change my name. Even though I play bass, I play guitar, I say I don't want to be affiliated with that because he went down to the crossroad and sold his soul. Then he had to
Yeah.
go
You
cut
ever watched
heads.
the movie The Crossroads?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Ralph Macchio.
exactly. So what I'm saying is, how come this young lady? Maybe she experienced something. Maybe that's when she is so violent now. Maybe that's why she have issues, and like we don't know. So that's why I'm trying to be from both sides. I'm not going to
Yeah,
talk about
because
LeBron or Chris Brown, but something's going on in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too many stories coming out. Too many actors speaking out on it now.
Facts.
absolutely.
Facts.
You remember Michael Jackson before he died, he came out about it.
Yep.
The Harvey
Prince
Weinstein.
before Prince died, he came out about it.
Yep.
You have all of these big actors in Hollywood now that's coming out and telling this stuff, and people better start listening up. Cause like I said earlier, everybody said David Icke was crazy until all of these pedophile rings started getting busted.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
the people who were named in it, what are ridiculous. They're all a part of the entertainment industry. Watch this. Watch
Yeah.
this. She mentioned other females too. Taraji P. Henson. She mentioned
Mhm.
she mentioned a lot of people. Mary J. Blige. I'm like, wait a minute. Is she just coming up with this, or is there something to this? Then she mentioned other men. These are all individuals in Hollywood. That's the part to why I say I have to back up, listen to each thing she says, because, like I said, there are some things that stand true, man. It's just a matter of dissecting because you can tell there's some mental issues. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, can
T,
I
did you watch that? Did you watch that Breakfast Club episode where Mike Epps was on there and he was talking about the gatekeepers in Hollywood?
No, I missed that one. I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
Yeah, man, because Mike Epps had brought it up, and he was on the Breakfast Club for about an hour talking about it. And you know,
Wow.
whenever somebody get on the Breakfast Club and they start talking about gatekeepers, the Breakfast Club crew will try to discredit them and try to make it seem like they talking crazy and stuff.
Make
Facts.
them donkey of the day.
Yeah, go ahead, T.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
wanted to bring that back up about R. Kelly, which y'all were talking about him
Yeah.
having the harem of women and all. Is
Yeah.
that not the same thing Hugh Hefner was doing?
Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
That's so true. Hugh Hefner, and you know those girls. Some of them
Like he
girls.
said,
was
like he was saying, he takes the girls out of the homes and then
Yes.
not forcing them to go back, but he's not really keeping them either.
That's right. And guess what? He said, "Oh, I married him." So what his thing was, I'm gonna separate from one, divorce her, marry the next one, so you can legally stay here. And it was all covered up. Why? Because Hollywood was all a part of it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's some stuff to what this young lady is saying. It make me say,
But for him he's promising these young women, I'm gonna put you in the next Playboy. You're gonna be the next centerfold. You the next big thing. You the next starlet.
Facts.
Mhm. Same
What
as
was R.
Harvey
Kelly doing?
Weinstein.
Fact, same thing.
Yep. Harvey
You gonna
Weinstein.
say-
I'm gonna put you in my next movie.
You're gonna sing on my next album.
That's why Gwyneth Paltrow can't stand him.
Yep.
And who was bringing the women to Harvey Weinstein? Oprah Winfrey.
Come on. And another young
And the other lady.
Yep.
So there's some things going on, man. It's way too many. It's way too many dots that's being connected for this girl to just be making stuff up out of blue. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and who knows? Who knows? LeBron is in that same good old boys group as what's my man? Shaq and the rest of the crew.
Right.
Him
Shaq and
and
the
Charles.
fool.
Because all of these people go to those Bohemian Grove meetings.
Yep.
I want you to just keep that in mind. They attend those meetings. They attend those mansion parties and all of that stuff that be going on. They are there.
But watch this, D. Somebody was saying the other day on one of their lives, Oprah built a school to traffic women, and what did LeBron build?
A school in Ohio. Wow.
Russell Wilson and Sierra built a school.
Say what?
Russell Wilson and Sierra have a school in Seattle.
Wow.
So
Look
what?
it up. Look it up.
What better way to develop your next haul, if I could say it like that?
Because that, if you look at it, the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, that's what they went over there to claim to do, build a school. They got caught trying to smuggle out kids. Then you have Oprah School in South Africa. One of her, the house director, she got caught prostituting out the girls. And now you have these coming up, man. It's a pattern. I'm seeing a pattern, man. So I can't totally dismiss what this woman is saying,
I
man.
can't either. I can't either.
I won't direct it. I won't direct it directly at LeBron, but I will say that something happened to her. She's been through something, and she's been around something that has caused her to have this mental break. Because not a lot of people can take certain amounts of pressure like that. It causes their mind to flip.
And there's somebody there with her. What does she do? She always covered up. She always got something on her head. She's standing there and she's always looking. She's doing this. I'm like, something happened. Something happened.
She looks like my brother, and my brother has paranoid schizophrenia.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so I understand. Like when I say the actions of her are familiar to me,
right?
They're very, very consistent with the actions of my brother. Whenever he's not on his medication, he takes a shot every month, and towards the end of the month, when it starts to wear off, you can tell because he starts to go into hallucinations and things of that nature. And so I liken everything that she's doing to that, but at the same time, that don't mean that something didn't happen.
You guys remember that? You remember that movie, The Principal, with John Belushi? Not John Belushi, the other Belushi brother, and he played the principal.
Jim Belushi.
Jim Belushi, and he played the principal of the school, and there were black gangs who just kept coming in. Well, the one at the end, the tall, skinny black guy with a knife, his name was Reginald Johnson. I went to Crenshaw High School with him. I seen him on the street. He played in a couple of movies and was doing great, right? So I seen him on the street a couple of days off of Washington by my old house. I said, Reggie, what's going on, man? Why you look like this? What's up, bro? I seen you in movies in Hollywood. He said they couldn't buy me no more. He said I wouldn't let them do what they wanted to me no more. And I just started running. He said, I just started running and I never looked back. Can you buy me something to eat? I said, brother, you don't even have to ask me. Let's go eat. And when he said, I can't describe it on YouTube, but he described the sexual things that was done to him as a grown man in these parties. So I do believe some of that stuff, bro.
Yeah, that's what happened to Tevin Campbell. And a lot of these young guys who came up and they started off strong and then they just disappeared. And you'd be like, what happened to them? Hollywood happened to them.
And the same thing with this rap industry. That's even worse. The same thing with the rapping, worse.
Man, G. Craig Lewis, years ago, over 10, 15 years ago, came out with a series called The Spirit Behind Hip Hop. Spiritual warfare behind hip hop, and he was talking about how the satanic spirit that was on rock and roll music and heavy metal was transitioning to hip hop, and you was gonna start seeing that goth look in hip hop, and you was gonna start seeing a lot of death and promoted in hip hop. And look at where we are now. Hip hop is synonymous with death.
Facts. Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just listening and agreeing.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, man. Watch this. I do believe with 9 that the government has a lot to do with this. What government lets all the citizens go to a big park in New York and have an orgy and call it the Flower Children thing or whatever?
Woodstock.
Woodstock. What government does that? Everybody got sick. Diseases broke out. Everything happened. What government does that unless they do have control over your mind?
And that's what the whole United States is built on that. You don't hear about it nowhere else, but the whole United States is built on that.
Facts.
That's the Roman practice right there. You look at Caligula, the type of emperor he was all about sexual perversion. And that's what Rome's main thing was, sexual perversion of all types. And they still practice that stuff today. You look at a lot of the symbology that's in the entertainment industry, a lot of the symbology that these Masons and Luciferians use is Egyptology.
And man, see, watch what y'all say, man. Y'all saying some big stuff, man. We go all the way back to Egypt. Then we come to Sodom and Gomorrah. Then we come to Greece, because then Greece, when we deal with the word pornography, that's a Greek word. So then when you get Greece, now you got the Roman bath houses to where everybody's. I'm telling you. So all these things, don't forget, men used to wear wigs and gowns. They practiced that. And then in government, what did men wear on their heads? Parliament.
Wigs.
And on their back.
Yep. So I mean, you look at I used to watch this series. It was a series that they put out. It was an HBO series called Spartacus. And Spartacus showed all of the customs of the Greek people and all of those different people back then. And so when you look at a lot of that stuff that they praise to, Aphrodite, the goddess of fertility, all of these things are still being practiced. A few years ago, Beyonce did a dance. She did a dance, the hands up dance. And if you go and you look at in the Hindu religion, she was doing the dance of Kali. Kali is a deity that is it's like the deity of war and rage and murder and violence. And Beyonce was doing every single move from the dance of Kali.
Facts. Watch this. I got people coming in now, Mike Cook and other people. Let me play that video again. If you're in now and you're going to listen to the video, please turn your sound down because it's going to come in kind of loud. I tried to make the video to where you can really understand what's going on with this young lady. So tonight we kind of find out some information because that's what myself and Dee do. We just want to talk about people. We go do research. So here's what we found out what's going on with her, but it's deeper than that. And that's what we're going through now. So here it is.
Mike Cook? What's going on, brother?
From concussions a great deal. I've suffered from concussions a great deal. I've suffered from concussions a great deal. I've suffered from concussions a great deal. I was driving to the basket. I'm a very aggressive driver. I'm going this direction. She's coming in this direction. Bam! Smacked me right in the head. But I'm like, nah, I'm not getting out of this game till we win. And I just kind of shook it off. In the last 2 years, I suffered from like 8 consecutive. In the last 2 years, I suffered from like 8 consecutive. In the last 2 years, I suffered from like 8 consecutive. As a professional athlete, you got to be elite all the time. So whatever you can find to help so that you can perform, you have to use it. Since I've been taking the CBD, like I haven't had any pain issues. I was able to work out with my trainer. I went through a whole training camp without any pains. So I'm like in a good space. And at 35, people are looking at me like, how are you moving like this? People looking at me like, how are you moving like this? People looking at me like, how are you moving like this? She fell in love with it. She stopped taking her medicine for her high blood pressure and it's helped her aches and pains. My grandmother loves it. My whole family is just obsessed over it. To see the effects for them, it's amazing. It's helped me sustain and play at a high level at my age. I think the oil is just one of those things that has added some extra mileage for me. The recovery has been great. I haven't had any reasons to sit out of a basketball game or a practice. Is a go-to for me.
For 20 years, Cappie Pondexter has pushed the envelope and been a pioneer in women's sports, a true Renaissance woman. That same spirit and mind bring you a new line of groundbreaking beauty products. High-grade Moroccan argan oil has become one of the most popular beauty and skincare products because of its effectiveness.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is it possible that CBD could alter or mess with your brain, especially if you've had 8 concussions without the right medicine or medical treatment? Is that possible?
I'm not sure about that, but one thing I can say is that if she, and she just said it, she stopped taking her medications and she started relying on the CBD.
Yes.
So if she stopped taking her psychological medications and started taking that CBD, she can very well be going through episodes right now.
Yeah, so but my question then too becomes, is it possible that these individuals she's talking about, because man, I remember when Chris Brown being a musician, I remember when Chris Brown first came in the industry And then there was a metamorphosis. There was a change. Look like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this. I know you, a lot of you like him, like from good to evil. Just a straight change. I never saw a kid who could have the possibility to go beat women. You understand? So what are your thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Well, that's how the industry does. You see what they did to what's her name, Katy Perry. Katy Perry came in as a preacher's daughter, and you see what they did to her.
Yeah,
That's what the industry does.
Britney Spears is the prime example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these people, man, they come in that game, they're going to have to give something up, and they're going to have to pledge allegiance to something in order to get to that higher level. If you want to just stay a B-list or a C-list actor or whatever profession you're in, then you don't have to take those oaths. But if you want to be in that 20 mil, 100 mil range, then you're going to have to make some sacrifices.
You want those Oscar roles, you got to bow down.
Exactly.
And you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. There's been so many of these entertainers that come out and say this stuff on the regular. I don't know why people don't want to listen. They just, I don't know, caught up in their own fantasy world, and they don't want to believe it. The thing that really, really made me believe that there's more to the situation, I was talking to somebody earlier, and we were talking about the neo-Nazi movement in the United States. Right. And I refer back to Operation Paperclip. After the war with Hitler was over, the United States took 1,500 Nazi scientists, integrated them into our society, gave them new identities and names so that they could continue their work that they were doing for Hitler, for us. And they brought that Nazism with them. And so all of these skinhead and Nazi groups are derived from those 1,500 Nazi scientists that the United States brought over here back in the day. And so there's so much into it, man. There's so much going on that we can't just sit here and say, no, I can't believe that. That's too far-fetched. No, our government is willing to go there. Please believe it.
Facts. And that's why, like you said, both of you gentlemen, man, we have to be open-minded enough to see beyond what's really going on with her. Why the transformation? Because I have a ton of videos just in the last 2-3 years to where this girl was just talking normal, doing things normal, but she was always talking about partying with so many type of group of people. So I believe that she got caught up into something. See, everyone can't handle all kind of drugs. Then if you go to a party, you don't know what some male or what somebody might give you. So then guess what? You come back because somebody has a point to prove, and now you're messed up. You ever see one of them brothers on the corner? You seen them like 5 years ago, they was cool, but now they on the corner, just they can't stop.
Hey, talking to do y'all remember
facts?
Do y'all remember right before the pandemic, one of Beyonce's drummers came out and said that Beyonce was a witch and she was casting spells on people, and she had her under a spell for so many years that she couldn't get out from under Beyonce? Y'all remember that? This was right before the pandemic. This was a little over before the pandemic started. It came out, and then it just kind of got overshadowed by the pandemic and all that stuff. But one of her past drummers came out and said that Beyonce was a witch. She cast the spells on people, and nobody took her serious either.
And she's talking about Beyonce more than she's talking about anyone. I'm telling you, man, everything that you guys mentioned that came from Egypt, up through Greece, up through Rome, that's happening right now, that happened in San Francisco and other places, man. That same spirit of mental and physical control is here. And in my opinion, I felt that someone had that young lady under mental control. Let me tell you why. She's already aggressive. So she fits the bill of a lot of young ladies that they would go after to trap other young ladies. So since she's already aggressive, all they need to do is break her down mentally.
And they've already seemed like they already got seem like they already got her, man. Because like I said, it's reminiscent of Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright, she was a backup. Amazing singer. She can sing any female artist you can think of other than maybe Patti LaBelle. Jaguar Wright can sing them under the table, including Beyonce. But she had a mental breakdown after the other member from Roots, Malik B, died. And they did him wrong. And that right there set her off. And she had her mental break. And she went on about a 2-month span where she was just outing everybody in the industry. But after a while, nobody paid her any attention because she started trying to monetize it. And then it kind of lost its wind. But these people aren't just making the stuff that she was saying. You can't make that stuff up on the phone.
No.
All day and make that stuff up.
And we've seen it before. Let's watch this. I'm not gonna say LeBron did anything, but when it comes to Einstein and those other individuals, whatever the dude's name is, and those who are connected, right, Epstein, and how they were bringing women in, and he had a madam who were training them, and how they were taking them from these schools of these entertainers. Man, some of this stuff just lined up. I'm sorry. Then you have government officials who block this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Candace Owens. So when you bring her in, it's just like too much going on, man.
Well, I'll say it like this, man. Bill Cosby is living proof that somebody with a pristine reputation can be something else. Facts. You know, so for us to put people up on certain pedestals because of who they are in their field is wrong. Because behind that mask, you do not know who that person is. We always thought of Bill Cosby as America's dad. He was America's dad. Fact. And now look at what America's dad is.
Yeah.
So before people
watch this, he was a runner through.
You know what I'm saying? so before everybody want to put LeBron and these other people up on this pedestal, we have to take these things into consideration. He said, if you go on any celebrity rapper's IG, you can see they are standing in front of a red room. They make them all stand in front of red rooms. They make them stand in front of those red rooms, and they also have them in that black and white for the duality. That's the amazing thing.
Y'all telling me something I didn't know, man.
If you look in their videos, a lot of the symbology in their videos, they're going to have something black and white, or they're going to have that black and white checkered floor, something that's going to be representative of that duality. And they're always going to be covering up that one eye for the all-seeing eye.
Out of that.
Wow. Yes, sir. So let me ask you a question. What if you start the process and say, I don't want to go through with it, but now you done learned all the secrets and stuff? What are they going to do to you?
You can't back out. They're gonna make you seem like you crazy, or they're gonna kill you.
Wow. See what I'm saying?
They don't pay for silence.
Wow. No. So this was what we see. We end up seeing a lot.
Tell me one celebrity that you know that was famous and that you never heard from again, but he's still around.
Wow.
Wow. Man, Eddie Griffin said it the best. He said no black entertainer is going to leave out of this game with an unstained name. Period.
Wow. Somebody breaking it down now. This is what I'm talking about. And this is what...
Alicia, how you doing? Let me see what she said. She said, Hollywood is the land of Satan. All immorality, nothing off limits. To be among them, you must sell your soul and be Satan's disciple. We're living out revelations, compromising God's word and appeasing to get along. Beyonce had a church and she was a lady God. Now all these false prophets with Hollywood, when God said, come out from among them, but they go into them. Most are gay and crooks. LeBron could have done what she said years back. His friend Dave Wade turned his son. Yeah, good point. Also, along with that, Hollywood, the term Hollywood in itself, you know what the holly tree is, right?
No, break it down, bro.
Okay, so the holly tree, this goes back into, I believe it's Irish folklore, where the holly leaf is used for sexual innuendo. And so the whole term Hollywood comes from that whole holly tree, from that pagan practice.
But watch this, so, it's nothing new under the sun. What you and this young lady just said, I want to shout out Facebook, because Alicia Joseph is from Facebook. So she's getting our stuff there. Thank you very much for coming on. But watch this. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and Deacon Mac. Watch this. When Abraham Or when the angels went to Lot's house, what did Lot tell all the men who were there? It's nothing new. He said, I
Take my
have
daughters,
daughters.
leave these men alone. Yeah. But they wanted the men. They said, no, we don't want your daughters. We want those men that just came in your house.
But see, for me, and I remember the scripture that says, watch this, that these individuals of sort, they crept into the house and they led silly women away with lust. So there's some people, watch this from my studies. These individuals are not, they're not satisfied sexually. There's no gratification. The whole thing is to steal these young boys' mind, to take these young ladies' mind, and to take your mind and make you be conform to what the enemy wants you to do.
That's it, brother. That's it. Man, it's so much going on in Hollywood today, and we're in the age of information where this stuff is being revealed. Now, last night, I believe Nine was saying that if it's a secret society, then why is people talking about it? And I was trying to get my comment in there, but I couldn't type fast enough, man. But I was saying that
we can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. And what I was saying that what I was gonna say to Nine is that back in the day they used to keep this knowledge from us. They had we didn't have access to information like we have readily now. And so now that we do have access and we can find out these things, what they're going to do is they're going to flood the internet, social media with so much knowledge and false knowledge about what they are that people are not going to know what to believe. And so they're just going to give up altogether trying to figure it out. And they're going to hide in plain sight in the midst of all of that misinformation.
You're right, man. Watch what Mike just said. They called themselves goats now, but they forgot that represents the devil.
Baphomet. Baphomet. Remember I was talking about Baphomet. Baphomet is both male and female.
Yes.
And so by the homosexual and transgender agenda is being pushed because they are trying to copy Baphomet.
But see, this is what nobody talks about. God was not in the Old Testament. It was an abomination because there was no law for it. If we're going to talk, we got to talk right. There was no anything that was abomination. There was no atonement for it. Forgive me for saying law. There was no atonement. But when Jesus came, he gave everybody a right to come out of where you are. The issue with that spirit is not about sex. It's about control. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Satan in heaven, Revelation 12, he wanted control. That's why he stood there until the child was born. But then God did something. He removed the child. But this is some deep stuff, man.
Yeah, it is.
Well, man, that's deep stuff. Man, is we can pray for this sister, man. We can pray for this whole situation. I'm just gonna continue to keep my mouth shut about it. I'm not gonna speak bad on Cappy's name at all, man.
No, me either, man. Because she has too many things that are consistent, and then there are too many things that are not which are inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
hey,
man.
Man, I appreciate you for coming in here too. I appreciate you, Taja, man. I'm finally got you in here with me, brother.
Salute, man.
Well, I'm telling you, man. And this thing, like I said, we do our due diligence here. That's why we went and created that video. But we went all the way back to see what her NBA career was like and what was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, there go Talk with T.
Hey, what's going on, T? He said the demon realm can find existence in the minds of those with broken psyches. People with cracked psyches make good hosts. This is good teaching tonight.
Wow. and they look for individuals with low self-esteem or don't feel good about themselves. Those are the easiest ones to capture.
You look at all of the Disney kids. Majority of those Disney kids have been molested by a lot of those people in Hollywood, and they have come out.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They told it, and you look at most of them, they messed up. Most of those Disney kids, as grown-ups, are totally messed up now.
Facts.
Because of them people are doing to them.
Where all the kids at from the 70s and the 80s? Either they're messed up, you don't hear nothing from them anymore. Kids who were supposed to be great.
They died from drug overdoses. The girl from Different Strokes, and Willis died.
Couldn't deal with it.
He's actually in recovery. But his man Kirk Cameron. Remember Kirk Cameron? Kirk Cameron went and got saved because of the stuff that he saw.
Yeah.
Got all the way saved from what he saw. Whatever he said, Kirk said, I wouldn't have that, man.
It's more about promotion and mind control than it is with anything. Anything satanic is mind control. Because watch this, and I'll tell you why that. If you don't agree, I'm not speaking Christianity. I'm speaking truth from a psychological perspective. All right, so watch this. The enemy wants to control your mind. He can't control your body unless he takes your mind. All right, so watch this. The word of God says it is with the mind that we serve the law or the word of Christ. So what the enemy does, he does not want you to serve righteousness. So what he puts before you is those things that cause him to control you and determine what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about the mind. Everything that we do is about the mind. It says for the renewing of the mind. For the renewing of the mind, that is gonna, when you take away the old man and you are renewed.
Wait. What Mike just say?
He said people don't even know Britney Spears' little sister got pregnant by a main producer from Nickelodeon named Dan. Dan Snyder is the one who has that fetish where he had all of the cast members on iCarly to do everything with their shoes off because he has a foot fetish.
Wow.
They could never why they did their scenes for their shows. And this is actually documented stuff. So yeah, these sick, man. Dan Snyder, you remember a show back in the day called Head of the Class?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I know that show.
The fat kid with
yeah.
Dan Snyder. He's the one who was doing that to those kids on Nickelodeon.
So this is broad, man.
Right.
So that's why I'm telling you, there's something to what she was saying because it's too broad. I'm not gonna say LeBron James and Chris Brown, but what she was alluding to, if you break it down, you get a piece of paper and you begin to identify. Let's do this. We're gonna write these names down. Okay, which of these names don't go together? We're gonna do our own investigation. So we got LeBron James, Chris Brown, Beyonce, all these other people. What do they have in common? Entertainment. So now let's write this other piece of paper. How many people do we have that are just natural people basically in the world? Nobody. So to me, there's a warning here that the young lady is saying something is coming. Everybody look out. It had me, but I got away. Go ahead, T.
I was going to bring this up. Remember Shirley Temple?
Yep.
Name a movie that she did while she was grown up.
You're right, none.
And not to mention Shirley, I'm glad you said Shirley Temple because when what's the girl's name? She's the major supermodel and everything, and man, what was her name? Man, it's gonna come to me in a minute. But when she was 12 years old, she did a movie. Brooke Shields, thank you.
Brooke Shields, yeah.
She did the Blue Lagoon.
She was done after
that. She did the Blue Lagoon.
Yep.
And it was the nude scene in the Blue Lagoon.
Facts. Wow.
But when she was younger, before Blue Lagoon, she was still a little girl. She was about 12 years old.
Yes, you're right.
And they had her movie where she was playing a burlesque girl, and the grown men her because she was so young. This was like in 78, 79, bro.
Man, you know how many people have committed suicide in Hollywood that nobody talks about? Let's get what Mike said.
He says, I'm a producer that makes trap and boom bap, so I study this stuff just to see if I can maneuver around it. I don't think it's going to be possible, though, but it's fine. Hey,
facts. I feel him on that.
Wow.
Bro,
don't loophole.
Man, sacrifice the bookie, bro.
Oh man. But watch this, man. Like we said today about Kwame Brown, the Bus Life. We said about All Smoke Podcast. We said about Hassan Campbell and all these cats. I don't know them and not against them, could care less. But one thing we did find out, man, is that they are all imitating a show that was out years ago called In Living Color. And In Living Color, they had Damon Wayans and David Allegreer playing two. What were they? What were they? They were playing two gay guys who were sexing a turkey. So then,
Lane and Twan.
right. Hated it.
Antoine Mayweather and
Yes.
Blaine Evans.
You got it. And what did they do now? Now you have DJ Envy and Charlemagne, who's playing as Kwame Brown, says with a Buki, all right, on the show. But guess what? It's all the same narrative, just disguised in a different package. And when you don't know the truth, it says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. I say, wait a minute. There's nothing new under the sun. Where does the Breakfast Club get all this stuff at by talking about people? Why did Charlemagne talk about what's the boy's name? Kwame Brown. Because that's what they did on what? In Living Color. They used to make fun of people. Like Mike Tyson wanted to get at them. So guess what these guys are doing now? Now Kwame Brown is doing the same thing that they did on what? In Living Color. I'm gonna go back at the All Smoke podcast. Becky with the good hair. This is all this is all the narrative that's been here before. And corporate America said, I'm gonna help you capitalize on it because your likeness, because you've been in entertainment. So we're gonna use that to our advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And Tia brought up a good point about using broken people, because a person with a broken psyche can easily be manipulated
and influence others 100%.
Yeah, the Bynes, Orlando Brown.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Orlando Brown. Thank you, man. Orlando, man. That was one of the biggest breakdowns that we saw right in our face, man.
Yeah,
and
right in front of us.
And we
Maya Mitchell in the house.
Facts.
Yeah, we another one of them. And you look at what's her name, Raven Simone. She ain't all the way there.
Exactly.
Her whole loaf ain't done.
Wow.
And
it make you wonder, man, what was going on that these kids, man, could not get proper help, man, or support. I guess they
were the money makers.
Yeah, you're right. I almost said something. Lord, forgive me.
The money makers.
Yes, sir.
Well, they always talked about how they would have the kids parties, and they would have all of the children stars to go to this big party, and the person, the handler that was over all of these kids at this party was pretty much picking out which ones are going to be the weak ones that they could manipulate and that they could do something to that wouldn't go and tell. And that's was the reason for them having these parties for all of the Disney kids, to pick out the weak ones, single them out so that they could do whatever with them. And the ones parents was on top of everything and always picking up on them, they knew that they couldn't really mess with them too much.
I agree with Mike when he said Robin Williams. I believe that too, because you have to understand, man, there are a lot of mental influences in Hollywood. Most of these people are really psychotic and crazy. Most of them are. Do you realize how much money is spent on drugs in Hollywood? Do you know how many drug dealers have their permanent clients that they go and take care of? You know, like this young lady, some company got Pondexter to back their herbs, their oil, CBD. So guess what she said? Oh, my mom and my whole family use it. Now I studied CBD. Some CBD is just good. It does not have that much marijuana or hemp oil in it. But then there's some, oh no, bro. It'll jack you up. So watch what she said. She said they're asking me why I'm playing so good at 35. Now I know.
Yeah.
Because who else can get a concussion and get back up and play?
Exactly. Jim Carrey has been trying to tell a lot for a lot of years now. Jim Carrey has been doing a lot more lately as far as exposing Hollywood, mainly through his artwork. And a lot of people think Jim Carrey is a pretty good artist. And in his art, he depicts a lot of the stuff that's going on in Hollywood.
Wow.
Did you hear what he said about himself?
No, what'd he say?
He said that he's not really Jim Carrey, he's playing Jim Carrey.
Yes.
And he looked that interview up where he was saying that He's not really Jim Carrey. He's playing Jim Carrey. That's his greatest role.
Yep, he absolutely 100% did say that.
But it sounds like Miss Pondexter. She keeps saying not on the real. She's saying something like she's speaking in the second person, and she's not there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, we better wake up, man. You got. I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of people think these people on YouTube have real big audience. They're getting big time super chats. Don't you know that's corporate companies giving those super chats and giving that thing so people can keep following these people?
Yep.
It's being set up, man. Why is it being set up? Because the one world government system of order is coming into place. And people don't even know they're not sellouts, but they're being used as of a narrative that's bigger and greater than them. And they don't even see it. See what Talk with T says.
To the rabbit hole tonight.
Does work. Many practitioners of the craft even say prayers from the book of Psalms to set up walls of protection from what they know is out there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. I'm real big on paranormal stuff because I've always been intrigued by spiritual warfare, and it always leads me to this paranormal stuff because this is a dimension and a realm that people are trying to tap into that we don't really need to be messing with. But if you're going to know about demons and demonology, then you're gonna have to get deep. And in my studies of this stuff, man, it really showed me that you have to pray and keep yourself prayed up and keep a hedge of protection around you at all times, because spirits can jump off of other people onto you.
Facts.
And just like T, if you're damaged and if you're going through a spiritually weak moment or a mentally weak moment, you can be heavily influenced by the spirit that's designated over that area.
Let me give you an example. There's King David. Everybody knows King David. He slept with Bathsheba, right? Bathsheba's grandfather was David's counselor. He was his mentor, but he got mad because David the king did this in his family and had her husband killed. So what he did, he looked for the weakest figure in the family, which was a young man named Absalom, because his half brother raped his sister, and David didn't do anything about it. So he sought to kill David, but he loved his father. But don't forget, a young man, an older man by the name of Ahithophel told Absalom, "We're going to kill David while he is weak-handed." See, and this is what we're saying. Individuals are looking to kill strength while they're weak. That's why we come on and we do this show. I don't care about the Cash App or the rest of that stuff. Yes, we are business, but what we're trying to do is bring out truth, so people will stop following people who do not have you and your best interests.
Yeah.
And guess what he did? 100%. Guess what he told him, D? Watch what y'all saying now. We talking about sex that goes along with this, right? He told Absalom, "Take all your father's concubine, take them up to the top of the house in Jerusalem and have sex with all of them. Go into every last one of them to show that you're man enough to be king."
So basically, he told him to go and make a sex tape on the roof. Man, so sexual perversion, man, it didn't just start, man.
It's been there, man. It's been there. It's been there.
You say the characters that they make them play also makes it worse on their mental. Yes, because they have the spirit of the character that they play. I remember Denzel Washington was saying when he was playing Malcolm X that he channeled the spirit of Malcolm X, and he on the part where he was doing the speech, they said cut to stop doing it, and he couldn't stop. The spirit had taken over him, and he kept on reciting the speech, and they had to snap him out of it.
Wow.
But Michael he on it, man.
But watch this, man. When you're smart enough, you go look for help, right? And this is what I'm saying. And people have told me I'm crazy when I recite this particular speech in the Bible. So I do believe this young lady now. I'm going to tell you why. Something did happen. And if you read Psalms 55, something happened to David. But if you don't know what happened, then you'll think David is crazy. He said, "They torment me. They follow me day and night upon the wall. My soul is in Sheol. They're trying to put, watch what he said. They're trying to put iniquity upon me. David said they are trying to kill me. But if you listen to people talk, they said that nigga was crazy.
Martin. It's Martin Lawrence all over again.
Come on, man.
Yeah. With King Saul, whenever God told Saul that he was gonna take his throne from him, and Saul went crazy and he was trying to kill David.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Because of jealousy. Oh, watch this thing now. Here's what the jealousy was. When they went out to battle and they came back, the young ladies came out. Watch this. The young ladies came out and said, "Oh, David killed 10,000." But when Saul pulled in, they only said, "Oh, Saul only killed 1,000." Saul got mad as though David was trying to take over the kingdom. Then watch what happened. The Bible says that David loved Jonathan, Saul's son, more than any woman. I'm going to leave that there.
He said, "Deacon, do not study demonology unless you pray. That world is very alluring. It will draw you in even if you had no intentions of going." Absolutely. It is. It's very dangerous. And a lot of people find themselves messing with Ouija boards and different stuff like that. And that's just opening up portals for that demon realm to come in, man.
Facts. And I believe this, gentlemen, if we tell the truth, and the truth is not our narrative, it's only one truth, and we all know what that is. If we tell the truth, one can teach one and reach one. And we never know where it's going to go from there. That's why at times we Deacon myself talk. We do need super chats and those things, but we don't worry about it, man. We believe that the higher power of God will take care of us. All we want to do is present the truth and be right, not righteous, be right before our brothers and sisters so they can make a determination based on the truth. And that's what the world is presenting on all social media. There's too much lie, too many lies. You have women now who are IG models, which some of them, forgive me what I'm about to say, I know it's going to irritate some people, but some of them are only prostitutes. Bottom line. Everything goes back to that Roman Greco era. The body. If you would have went to Greece back then, all they did was build statues for a man's penis and a woman's body, her breasts, bathing places. And guess what's happening now? A woman, and most women who are on these IG stuff, not even concerned about their own body, man. And it's sad.
They will destroy the inside of their body, but they will spend millions and millions to keep the outside of it upkept. I'm like, that's like washing the outside of a glass, but the inside of it that you're gonna be using is dirty.
Facts. Facts. And that's because nobody really getting it or caring, man. And that's why we have to present the right narrative no matter what goes on. No matter what goes on. Present it.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you for coming in here tonight. Finally got you on with me, and
that was coming.
We appreciate you, big man.
Yeah,
appreciate you, Mike. Man, it's definitely been a great discussion tonight, and a lot more of this stuff needs to be talked about in this day and age because, like I said, the David Ikes and the guys like that talked about it back then, but now we need this younger generation to refresh it and resurge this message because it's still happening. It ain't stopped.
Facts.
Yeah.
For those
Randy Marshall said that.
Yes, he did.
He said that about black men coming together. Black men should be comfortable enough with talking about what's going on with them and their feelings and everything in their life with each other. If you can't talk to nobody, you should be able to talk to another black man.
Facts. But we're still separated by the elusiveness of
masculinity.
America. Yes, come on, sir.
Masculinity.
Come on. But the thing now is in our own communities. All right, Big Mike. It's in our own communities. And the problem with that is we don't have enough individuals who are smart enough to say, oh, this was done 20 years ago on Living Color. So, Kwame, the reason they're talking about you is because it's entertainment. And entertainment has value. It equals bags, economics. Mm-hmm. So the reason, watch this. The reason Hassan keep going back with you, because Hassan got almost 400,000 followers. you have for almost. And what you're doing, you're having the people actually fight your battles. So what they do, they're going to each other page. It's just a big whatever, man. I hope people
What's
are
the
getting
latest
it.
on Richard Sherman you've heard? Nothing.
No, I got to go in there tonight. Exactly. So what did Rich do? This is what I want to know. I still can't get the whole thing.
He wrecked his car, went to his father-in-law's house, which is his wife's husband, and proceeded to act a whole donkey. I'm gonna put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Forced his way in the house. Like they said,
serious?
he drank a bottle of tequila and vodka, which is, I think that's impossible, not to an alcoholic. But yeah, he went, banged on the door. He's beaten, and they had to like hold the door forced closed to keep him from coming in. And they called the law.
So my question is this: they've been harassing Kevin Durant all week about smoking weed on his off season, but yet and still they won't say nothing about these athletes who have drinking problems, who going out here getting in accidents, hurting other people, and having these episodes and stuff like this. It's very hypocritical to me. That's very hypocritical.
That's just like the Sha'Carri Richardson incident about her smoking weed.
Yes, sir.
They said you can go to the Olympics and show up dead, like tore up drunk. You can show up to the Olympics like that, and they will not disqualify you.
Yep.
Or hold it against you. But if you show up with a positive weed test, you're out.
Because we're still in that era of control. A few more years it'll be all right. Like again, we always talk about here.
But yeah, why drinking has more effect on you than that. But
yeah,
if they let you do an event drunk,
but watch this. Who controls the economics of drinking?
The government.
Right, the FBI makes sure of that. Who controls the
all
economics?
the tobacco firearms, ATF.
Yeah. Who controls the narrative of marijuana?
Nobody yet.
Not yet.
They're trying to.
Then there's a big one coming out after that. It's called Bitcoins and all the rest of that. Who controls that?
Nobody. They trying to centralize it.
Yeah, but the government, guess what? Just like you said, D, that FBI is going to every country. China is saying we ain't gonna deal with it. There's something called Bitcoin and BitChain, right? And what they're doing, they're starting to shut these mines down, and they're moving them to certain places because they don't want to deal with governments. Because if they're no longer decentralized, who's going to make money?
The government.
Do you know $450 million were made last year and none of it was taxed through cryptocurrency? $450 million. Now watch what El Salvador said. Say, really? No taxes? El Salvador's main money is about to be what? Bitcoin.
That's really there though, because Bitcoin is not backed by anything. It's basically fiat money. So I would not make that my country's currency, and it's not backed by oil or gold or silver.
Federal Reserve.
Exactly.
By the Federal Reserve.
It's not worth anything. But watch this. Now Bitcoin is dropping under 30,000 per coin, when it was up to almost 50. XRPs are dropping. Ethereum is pretty much staying at the same level, but a lot of things are changing. And this is all has to do what we were talking about tonight. A one world government system, to where all these things that are going on has to do with hypocrisy, which represents the enemy, Satan. And a one world government system, Revelations chapter 13. And if we don't wake up, we're walking right into the gates of hell. I ain't, but if we don't wake up, it ain't no real beef. The only beef is between Satan, Lucifer, the dragon. You can call him whatever you want, and Christ himself, God. That's it. There's no other beef. Just like that man. Just like that man used to have some right here, some right there. Which one you gonna knock off? Sorry, I'm sorry, D.
So many billions on advertising and distractions, man. They got to keep us distracted, and they got to keep us preoccupied with shiny things so that they can initiate this stuff.
Wow. Okay, so we've been on here for a minute. We want to remind everybody to please go by Deacon Mac's page. That's DEACON Mac, and subscribe. That's MACK. Make sure you subscribe because what he does, he and T, they give up more information, and they're building. We want to get him to 200 subs within a couple of weeks. So make sure you go by. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel here at Big J. Let's talk. And also make sure that you grab a membership. We're about to start doing videos only for members and meetings only for members. Why? Not trying to make money, but we are trying to sustain what we're doing here so we can do better and more for you who are tuned in as subscribers. Gentlemen, as the panel, you have any closing words?
Taja, you got anything, brother?
I say it was a pleasure, gentlemen. I love stuff like this. I got a big head full of just. It's got to come out some way.
Yeah, just come on over here, man. When you ain't with D, follow
Thank
D
y'all
on
for the
over here.
opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Brother,
yes.
You know I love you. Good to see you.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Hey, I thank you, T. Hey, y'all go and check out Talk with T, man. Brother, he be dropping a wealth of knowledge himself. And also, I was on today with my cousin Bam. He's about to start his podcast. It's going to be called Humble Beginnings Podcast.
Wow.
But he's gonna be dealing with real estate and finance and stuff like that. And this is a young brother, so he's gonna reach a demographic of young people with real estate and finance that that I won't be able to touch. So remember, it's called Humble Beginnings Podcast, Bam Bam Lynch. So just be on the lookout for that and Talk with T.
Make sure you go. No, I just got him on the screen so people will know where to go. It's now I'm going to subscribe tonight. Talk with T. Everybody make sure you go by and subscribe to his channel. We want to thank everyone again, all those in the chat, especially those on the panel. You can't do this by yourself. Sometimes there's too much going. So I want to say to the brothers on the panel, we appreciate you. And you're big, and we want to help you grow as much as you do or can. All those in the room, hey, you were honored tonight. Thank you so much. Everybody, D, what you gonna say?
You know what I say, man. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you.
You got one yet, T?
Be blessed.
Okay, that's it. And you know what I'm gonna say. Be the best. I got somebody talking. Good lesson. I always watch y'all. All right, there you go. Late. Thanks for hey man. We're all about it, man. And you know what I'm going to say. Be the best, and the best you will become. Everyone have a great evening. Amen.